Hello YouTube, part number 4 of the mini-series. And this is more for people who also have in mind that they maybe want to breed with their corn snakes when they are adults, of course. The snakes it is, not the people. Some people, they just want to have a corn snake as a hobby, and they say like, yeah, I just want to have 1 male or 10 males or just females, but they don't want to breed, which is fine. That's a nice hobby on itself, of course. But for me, it started like that as well. But the more I got into snakes, the more I was thinking, oh, but what about breeding? How does that work? And it is an interesting thing, especially with all the color morphs, of course. But even, yeah, if you would just have 2 normals, it can be quite fun to breed with them. You do have to think about some things up front, like how will you house the babies, how will you sell the babies and stuff like that. But I don't want to go in that in this video. But yeah, if you maybe are buying some corn snakes with the intention of breeding in a couple of years, then also keep in mind a couple extra things. First is, of course, make sure the sexes are correct. Everybody can make mistakes, including me. Especially I breed hundreds of snakes each year. I am really good at popping snakes or probing snakes. But I also can make a mistake. So if you buy an animal from me at a reptile show, for instance, and you are looking for a male, and you take a snake and at the box it says 1.0, so that's a male, 0.1 means a female. I don't mind if you ask like, oh, can you show me that is actually a male? Because I rather have that at the show, I take the snake out and I pop it for you, and we both see, look, they're the hemipene, so it's definitely a male. In that case, you know it's a male, I know it's a male, and everybody's happy. Or you can also just buy it in trust and yeah, take it home and then check it there. But then it's a little bit more difficult to switch around if something would go wrong. So if you have breeding intentions, then definitely just ask. What I don't like is that people pop themselves, because I know I can pop my corn snakes, but maybe you don't know what you're doing. Maybe you do, but I don't know that. So you can pop your snakes as much as you want, but then you have to buy it first. So never ask to handle a snake as just start popping it. I can do it for you and we can both look that is correct. But don't start doing things like that yourself, because I don't know who you are, basically. So that's an extra bonus tip. Once you know you have a correct male or and a correct female or something, the genetics is also yeah, a big part of breeding, of course, for corn snakes. So with me, of course, the morph is on the label of the box, but you always get a certificate as well. And I write down, well, if the year of birth, if it's a male or a female, which clutch it comes from, and then all the morphs that I know. So both visually and heterozygous and possible heterozygous. I always say to people, save the certificate, because with that certificate, if you make a picture that 3 years later, I still know sort of which snake it is. If you just send me a message and said, I bought a snake from you 3 years ago at that one reptile show, remember what it is? Yeah, then I have no idea, of course, what it is. My memory is not too bad. I'm not too old yet. But yeah, it's all the heads and possible heads are just impossible to remember, of course. That's why I also always write down my the clutch number on the certificate. Because on my website, you can find all the breedings per year. So if you have a snake out of, let's say it was born in 2022, and you know it's clutch number 6, you can just go to my website, go to pairings, go to 2022 and see clutch number 6, and you can see the genetics of the parents. That makes it easier for me as well, because everybody can just look up the information, and you might know by now I like to just have everything out in the open. That's way more easy than to be secretive and so stuff like that. So yeah, keep the certificate. If you throw the box away where it was in, I don't mind, because as long as you have the certificate, we can always find out what the parents are and stuff like that. The reason I say both that the sex and the morph has to be correct is often every year I get questions, usually via Facebook or something, like, oh, I bought this snake here, what do you think which morph it is? Which is fine, I don't mind to answer. I will help everybody if they have a good question, of course. But sometimes people, they don't know if it's a male or a female, and they don't know the sex, and it looks a bit skinny, and yes, basically they did not buy a good animal, especially for breeding purposes. But yeah, maybe they just bought it because it was cheap, or because it was offered to them, or at a local reptile shop they had it laying around, but they did have no idea what it was. And that's always a little bit, well, not annoying, but I always ask people, okay, if you want some, my input, then at least let me know how did you buy it, as which morph or something. That also makes it easier for me, of course. But if people just say, yeah, I have no idea, I have no background information, yeah, I can make the best guess that I can. Visually, probably 90 to 95 or maybe even 100% of the time I could be correct. But still, you don't know anything about the heads or the possible heads and what the parents were and stuff like that. So if you really have breeding intentions, then you are usually best off buying at a breeder. And it doesn't have to be me, it can be anybody. But if you have somebody that you can ask a question to when you buy a snake and you can also get a good answer, then usually you are better off than if you have somebody that says, yeah, I don't know, I just got it there and oh, it's just 10 euros and just buy it. Yeah, how do you say it in English? If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys or something like that. So yeah, basically you get what you pay for. So I'm not saying I'm expensive at all, but maybe I am 10 euros more expensive or 20 euros more expensive for a baby. Compared to some other sellers, but at least you know what you are getting, which is also worth something, I think. Back to breeding, people sometimes also ask me, yeah, I want to breed, how many males and females can I keep? Well, I maximum sort of breed 1 male to 3 females in 1 year. 4 or 5 females or maybe even 6 is possible for 1 male. But for 2 reasons I don't like it. One is maybe the male is just into breeding and he doesn't like to eat a lot and they sometimes get skinny. With corn snakes it's not usually the case. But for instance, ball pythons are sort of known for it, that you can really get a male breeding so much that he just stops feeding and basically dies just because he has one thing on his mind. So with corn snakes it's a little less bad if you have a couple more females. But the other reason I use maximum 3 females is because I like some variety. So it's really easy to think, oh, this is my coolest male in my collection, I will breed it to all my females. But then all those babies will all be, well, half siblings, because they all have the same father, of course. So that's not ideal if you want to breed any further. It's better to sometimes outcross if you can, of course. But also selling wise, let's say you have a really cool palmetto male and everything you breed is palmetto and head palmetto. But you also have some, I don't know, a scaleless male or a mimosa male, and you don't use them for breeding. Yeah, you have such a sort of a boring offering as well for selling your babies. So that's why I also maximum do 3 females, and some males sometimes just have 1 or 2 females as well for breeding. Just so I have a lot of variety in genetics as well, both for myself but also for selling. Another long video. I thought I really could make these videos in like 3 or 4 minutes, but it's not going too well. But anyway, I will show you the last of the babies. So yeah, this last rack, they are not that old. So they had like 0 to 2 feedings basically. So they won't be ready for the Nijmegen show. These probably, if they are all keep feeding well, they will be ready for Houten in December 1st or Hamm at December 14th. So if you want to reserve them, you can definitely do that. And yeah, if you did not watch video 1, 2 and 3 of the Mina series, then definitely watch those. And those, probably most of them or all of them will also be ready for the Nijmegen show. That is on November 1st, 3rd? At least the first Sunday of November. So, enough talking. Let's go look at the last babies. And the last babies, which yeah, all had 0 to 2 meals, so they basically were all recently in the videos, of course, of the clutch introductions. But well, this is a female Hypo Snow from clutch 127. Ah, but it's the stupid 2 times zoom is annoying. Which one is it? This one is the pinker version of it. Mimosa Hypo Snow Tessera male. Clutch 127. Oh yeah, well, some cool scaleless gold dusts. Males. Also females. I really like gold dust scaleless. I don't know why they're not more popular. Oh, damn it. Focus, phone, focus. That's better. And if you think, well, but that's not good enough, well, then get some Tessera in the mix. This is a male scaleless gold dust Tessera. And that gets even cooler with the pattern like this, I think. But yeah, I kept some back last year already, so I don't need to keep these. Clutch 128 are more Spectre Ghosts. Which of course you can also take these, but yeah, to be honest, why would you not take the first clutch? So that was, let me turn around quickly, clutch 79. So it's yeah, the same parents, but just the first and second clutch. So if you like one of these, then you can get these. They're feeding well, but yeah, their siblings are like 2 months older, and well, the siblings from the first clutch. So 2 months older and a bit bigger, of course. So, but well, there was a female. There's also a female. In clutch 129 we have some, I'm really in my own light, or is it the camera that's just focusing again? Focus. Well, now I have to go back a lot, that was too far. This is a female hypo-amelanistic from clutch 129, and it's from a Mimosa to Red Factor pairing. And we have Hypo Ultramel, which in the video I said, but I really like, because it almost on first glance you think, oh, it's amelanistic, but just not. It just has a little bit of gray left. And there was a male, by the way, and this male, for instance, is pretty dark red, but has some nice pattern as well in the neck. I'm just opening some random boxes now, but this is a female Hypo Ultramel Motley from the same clutch. Maybe you like it more with snow, so hypo snow in this case, or really light Ultramel Ghost. But yeah, these as well, they had like 2 meals, so they're yeah, a bit smaller of course than some that you saw before, and color gets in, yeah, with age, with Red Factor and Mimosas and stuff. So these are not popping the most at the moment, but they will be. And let's have a seat again. Well, clutch 130. Yeah, I just filmed, what is it, 2 days ago or so. So they are really, they did not have any meals so far, because they are just young. I will feed them tonight for the first time. But well, this is Ultramel Motley Desira, a male, and a nice pink snow. I will zoom out a bit, this is annoying, with a lot of color. So that was the end of the rack. I will zoom out. All clutches are out of the incubator. So just 2 more clutches that are shedding, well, they just hatched but still need to shed, will come here. So 2 more videos will come of the breeder series. So this is not everything that's for sale that you saw in the last videos, but almost everything. So just 2 clutches to go. But if you did not subscribe, or do it here, subscribe here, because then you can follow all the clutches.